Welcome again to Hobby Nonsense. That's right, you got your boy, Sports Boy, aka Jesse Gibson. I am your host of the show. I will be taking the journey with you today as we travel down the road of Upper Deck products. We talk about new releases. We talk about a number of news events that need to be shared. And then, of course, we'll share a bit of nonsense along the way. To get us started, though, I would like to point something out. At this very moment in time, there is a Cheeto that looks like Charizard that is up for auction, and currently bids are about $6,700. That is a thing. That's a world that we're living in right now. It's called the Cheetozard. It is a Flamin Hot Cheeto that looks like Charizard. I keep seeing this on social media. Granted, I follow a lot of content accounts. I cannot get away from the Cheetozard Cheeto. It started at like $350. It still has multiple days. It ends Saturday the 1st, so March the 1st. I want this thing to hit 20 grand. I mean, if we're talking 6,700, why can't we get this thing to 20 grand? Somebody out there, go sell 20% of a Bitcoin and go buy this thing. It's worth it. I'm telling you, it's money well spent. That being the case, I just needed to get that out and air the Cheeto nonsense right away. I couldn't hold it in any longer. There is other news. Like I said, we've got a great show. Billy Celio from Upper Deck is joining. He is going to be talking about DC Annual. It's going to be their first DC product now that they've gotten the DC licensing that comes out on March 12th. We'll also talk a little bit about the James Bond product, which I didn't know I wanted until he started talking about it. It sounds awesome, and some of the pictures look even cooler. It comes out March 5th. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. It looks really cool. We'll talk about more of that, as well as hint at a few other things. I'm really curious to know what you think when he talks about Superman's dog as well in that interview. You'll understand when you get to that part. But anyways, great interview. Really good, exciting stuff. Also, Tim, Big Hat Tim, if you're familiar with the SCN show or card shows in general, you've probably seen him around. He makes an appearance at the beginning of that show as well. Very good content, but I digress. Before we get to our interview, let's go over all of the nonsense that's happened over the last 7 days since our last episode. First things first, after we've talked about the auction for the Cheetozard, there's been a few other Pokemon events that have taken place. So you have Pokemon TCG pre-orders are stopping over at GameStop. GameStop has been allowing pre-orders of product, even like scarce or limited product or very popular product. They are going to be putting an end to that, and they are going to be putting limits in place. I think it's like maybe a 2-box limit for most of these more popular products that are going to be coming out. I think this is a great idea. However, I think you're going to, if you're not having pre-orders, then you're probably just going to have lines out the door, which, hey, I guess it is fair for anybody who's just a walk-in who wants to wait in line for a long time. I think the issue comes when these online offerings of products, they're just not reasonable because they keep crashing sites, right? Like you get bots that are going out there. They try and get as much product as possible. I think I've seen Topps UK do this, and maybe they've done this in the US as well. I just haven't seen it, but they have set up some online sales where you can only have a couple of boxes of a product. You can also only get in with valid, license in the US or whatever country it's releasing in. You have to go through a number of hoops, but it limits how the bots get in there and start taking up all the product from the people who are just trying to get a few personal things themselves, not for resale or anything like that. I think these companies that are releasing products like this, specifically Pokemon, since it does seem to crash multiple sites that it comes out on when they do these pre-releases, they need to set something up like that. But that is one of the things that just got released, I think, in the last day or so. Another auction news that came out. So 1999 Pokemon base set first edition booster pack wrapper roll. Try saying that one time fast. That got sold at auction at Golden for $57,000. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, why would it go for $57,000? Well, if you're asking yourself that, you probably haven't given the much thought to all the nefarious things in the world. I can only imagine what people are going to try and do with this wrapper roll. It just makes me worried, right? Like, people are going to buy that and then do what with it? Like, just put a roll of foil wrapper in their house somewhere on display? I kind of doubt it. I really think, like, hey, this is probably going to go into trying to fake packs or something like that. I sincerely hope I'm wrong. I hope whoever bought it has the greatest of intentions, but yeah, that's just a thing that happened, and I feel like the world should know more about that. That's out there. Well, if I get more updates of where it went or anything like that, I'll be happy to share that. Another piece of news. This GameStop, we've already talked about GameStop a little bit. We've already talked about Pokemon a little bit. Now we're going to combine the two. GameStop in Lynn Haven Mall. So Lynn Haven, actually, I didn't even write down the state this is in. I'll double check while I'm going over it. But Lynn Haven Mall, this GameStop where they take in cards for grading and send them off to PSA. Apparently, there is a big issue where number of people, especially those who submitted cards between the dates of November 1st, 2024 and February 12th of 2025, so this year, basically, if you submitted cards there, there's a high likelihood you are not getting those cards back. It appears that the owner and or employees of this store have been taking these cards, not submitting them. Apparently, someone took to Reddit and started commenting about this, found others who have run into the same issue, contacted FedEx, who has noted that they never picked up cards for delivery to PSA. It goes to show, even if you're a multi-billion-dollar company or a publicly traded company, there's still sketchy stuff that's going to happen, right? Like, it doesn't just happen at, a mom and pop card shop or something like that. So something to think about, definitely a concern. Looks like Lynn Haven Mall is in Virginia Beach, by the way. So if you're in that area, be leery. Apparently, they've been hard to contact. Not even other GameStop employees have been able to contact that store to try and get answers of what's going on with those cards. So the other pieces of news, some cool announcements before we get to a new release that we are just going to have to talk about. One of the first announcements that came out, I got this from Carlos, our old editor. I want to say editor in chief for some reason, because I'm about to talk about editors in chiefs in another segment. But our old producer over at The Ringer. So he is still a big TCG guy, and he was I don't know if he was at this event or just saw this, but Magic the Gathering holds, I guess, a conference, and they announced that they are going to be putting out a Avatar, like Avatar the Last Airbender, not Avatar James Cameron blue guy product, but Last Airbender product that is coming out November 21st of this year. I just find it hard to believe that that's not going to be a hugely popular set, right? Like, the fact of how many times they've tried to make a Last Airbender movie. M. Night Shyamalan, you did your best. The anime version, of course, is gigantically popular, and Magic the Gathering already has a huge following. I just feel like this is going to take off. So I just wanted to make sure people are aware that this is happening. This is going to be coming out. And again, there's not people associate like Magic the Gathering with the original game. It's just the name of the company. And then this is going to be associated with the actual anime show, not like mechanics of working that into the Magic the Gathering universe. It's a whole thing. I know that most of you know this, but there's a lot of people who don't seem to understand the differences between the two. There's also apparently the Magic the Gathering cinematic universe that is being started. If you hadn't heard about this, you're going to be seeing movies, TV shows, apparently all surrounding content in that cinematic universe. Now, that will be based around the gameplay of the original game, is my understanding, but who knows where they go with that. That was one of the announcements that came out over the weekend. Another one that came out, which I think is very interesting. Now, if this is the time where if I had someone sitting across from me, I'd really like to bounce some of this off of. I will be having someone in studio on the next episode. Hopefully it'll be my 11-year-old nephew, really trying to get him. His people are hard to get hold of. The publicist is a real piece of work. But this is an announcement that I would like to know what you guys think. DC and Marvel, of the comic series, the editor-in-chiefs were at a comic event this last weekend, and they announced that coming here in the near future, we are going to see another crossover event. Now, if you're not familiar, this is just where you see both characters from Marvel and DC enter into the same comic books to tell a story about something, right? This was last done in 2003/2004. They just had like a 4-series event where it was like Justice League of America / Avengers. And then you also had another 2 of the 4 series called Avengers / Justice League of America. Give everybody an equal chance there. But that being the case, you're seeing that it is very sought after. Everybody wants this to happen. It's going to be very popular in the comic book world. But as you start thinking more, it's like, what does that mean for licensing between Upper Deck and Topps? Topps has Marvel, Upper Deck has DC. Could there be a world where we got a crossover card between the 2 companies? I don't know, but it's something fun to think about, because honestly, that is just the first step, right? Comics, to see that go into the cinematic or TV universe, it would have to be cinematic, right? You'd have to go straight to the movies. But if Warner Brothers and Disney, who hold those 2 separate licensing, if they got together and put something out, how amazing would that be? And I tease this because think about the fact of who's basically running the DC universe now. James Gunn, who was not only part of DC in the sense of Superman and Suicide Squad and those movies, and then future ones that he's working on as well, but he's also famous for all of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and being in the Marvel universe. It just seems to me like we already have like a linchpin to connect the 2 DC and Marvel cinematic universes. So if we got comics and there's, some things in place where you could see this in the cinematic universe, could we not also see this on cards? I mean, obviously we would, right? We'd have to. I just don't know how that would work with licensing and all that, but it is something fun to think about. I wanted to tease it because when I saw this happening in the comic universe, it's like, hey, we're one step closer to seeing it in our card universe as well. One other thing before we get to our universe, and that before we get to our interview, we got to talk about X-Men 97. First off, RIP to me. I will not be able to rip any of this when it comes out. I'll have to wait. But hey, I'm just like the rest of you guys in that sense, because usually I like to break these products, day it comes out or very soon after. But I will be in Ireland, the Emerald Isle. I'm so sorry if I've offended anybody by even trying to imitate an Irish accent. I will be in Ireland as of tomorrow. In fact, by the time you're listening to this, I will probably have already landed. But I am going to Ireland for about 2 weeks. Come back, a few days. Come back on March the 7th. There you go. So coming back on March the 7th, I will not be able to rip any product until then. That is sad, but I will be living vicariously through breaks and watching other people do it. I'll probably buy into some breaks myself while I'm waiting. I keep getting more excited about this. I keep looking at more information, the checklist. I have gone through all the sales material multiple times. It really feels like they did a good job with this. Now, granted, I can't say for sure because I haven't seen it for myself yet. I haven't opened it. I will say the first thing right off the gate we have to talk about is pricing. It stinks. It's very high. It's like $250 almost in some cases. It's hovering between $200 and $250 depending on where you're buying it. Very high. It's only 80 cards. So it's not a ton of cards in this product. However, I like that part. That's one of the things I like, that it's not a ton of cards. And when Topps, this isn't a Topps problem. This is a retail thing, right? Because when Topps first released it was selling for like $120 or so a box. So definitely has gotten jacked up in pricing, but part of that's like the market, right? Like if market demands it, then that's what happens. I do think, like with hyperspace, I talked about this a little bit on our other show. So with hyperspace, when I did the breaks this last weekend, this last week, I should say, I did that knowing that I was going to lower the pricing. I basically let everyone know as we started, hey, before you buy anything, offer a price or a discount or something like that. We'll see if we can't work something out. And the guys who actually bought into the breaks before it even started, I just gave them free spots in it, because basically what it was listed at, after I was seeing some of it getting broken, I like it. I do like the product overall, but it just, for the price, it just was not making sense to me. And I didn't feel comfortable like that. And again, it is one of these things where market dictates what the price is. I feel like at that point in time, maybe we could have done a little bit better as far as breakers go to adjust our pricing. And that's where I tried my best to do that. So the thing with X-Men is we'll see if that gets adjusted or not, because from what I'm seeing, it looks very cool. It looks like it's going to maintain its popularity, and it looks like it may be worth it so long as that resale is there. And that's where waiting, in my case, where I'll have to wait about 10 days or so from the time it comes out to the time I actually get to break it. We'll see if pricing comes down along that same timeline, if resale is just not there. But the fact that there are like 80 cards a box, the fact that they are doing much fewer parallels than what I've seen in a number of other Topps releases as of late, the fact that they're doing, I think it says one refractor parallel per box, it feels like they're limiting some of what you can expect, which means that hopefully they're going to limit that in the overall print run. I haven't seen odds on things. I haven't seen pack odds or anything like that. Overall, though, the idea that this product will still, at $200 a box or so, is still more affordable than some of the other releases in the short term. Yeah, it needs to come down a little bit more for most people, but at the same time, I'm okay with it because it doesn't seem completely out of the realm of, possibility that you're going to get your value's worth of cards, seeing how popular it is. It's one thing if it gets jacked up in price and then you can't resell any of the cards for close to what you got it for. But in this case, it seems like there's going to be enough demand for it out there. So anyways, that comes out this week. In fact, it comes out on the 26th. So 2 days from the time I'm recording this. Hopefully you guys are able to get it if you're wanting it. And if you don't want it, why? Ask yourself that. All right. We talked Marvel. We talked a lot of things. Let's get into our interview with Billy Celio from Upper Deck. All right, guys, we are here with Billy Celio. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I thought I was going to try and pronounce the Italian pronunciation. Billy, what's your position with Upper Deck? What's your title?
I'm a senior product manager at Upper Deck.
Senior product manager with Upper Deck. Now, please clarify for me, what was the first card that you showed me when you first came on here?
I can show part of it. I can show part of it. It's my good friend here.
Who is that guy? He's got a big hat.
Some guy that wears big hats. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim was the very first person I saw when seeing Billy join this interview.
Well, I mean, you can see the breakout Lionel Messi with a real Lionel Messi autograph on it behind me.
You know what's funny is I talked about this on the Sports Cards Nonsense podcast today, how like the real autograph of Lionel Messi is becoming harder and harder to find, it seems like. So that's pretty cool that you've got, like, that's a blown up poster, or is that an actual card?
The soccer ball is actually like physically out of the poster. It's one of our breakout UDA pieces. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't have as many cool pieces that Jason had in the background when you guys had him on there.
Yeah.
He had all the Jordan stuff. I get to look at Messi, even though I'm a Ronaldo fan. But
what a slap in the face.
It's what it is. I know, right?
Well, that we as a non-sport podcast, we allowed a modicum of non-sport talk or sport talk in here. I feel like we're about reaching that limit with all this soccer mumbo jumbo. So let's dive right into this. So you are, what is your role when it comes to the DC products that Upper Deck puts out?
So myself and there's a few others. Our job is to kind of basically build the sets from an outline standpoint. We build the structure of the set. Like, Carvin, they call him the architect.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that position. I have the same position that Carvin had, where we build the structure, the outline of the sets, and I kind of decide, what's going in there from a standpoint of inserts, how many, cards per the base set's going to have. It's going to have deco foil, autographs, memorabilia, like all that sort of stuff. And then once we've kind of figured stuff out, once we've realized, okay, we have box hits, pack hits, case hits, we kind of put all that together, put it through a costing, seek to hit a specific margin. And once all that happens, then we write somewhere between a 10 to 60-page brief, basically describing everything that we want.
That was a lot of information about what goes into it. And I honestly, more respect for what you guys do for putting these cards out. The number of steps, you said costing, is that like literally like how much it would cost to license the characters on cards, or is there something different there?
No. So when I said talk like how much each form costs to make, like from a paper standpoint,
Okay.
The pre-press, the plates that they use, how many times they got to run it, and there's a specific like model where they have specific costs. So like how much a pass of deco foil is going to cost, or how much a 4-color plate's going to cost, and so our finance department uses that scale and then creates what they believe the costing would be, and we look to hit a specific margin.
Now, are you a collector of non-sport cards yourself?
Yes, cards and autographs and photos and stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, did you work on Marvel stuff too before?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Worked on a bunch of Marvel.
You're used to the comic universe. You've been doing this for Upper Deck for how many years?
I've been here for 11.
Oh, cool.
And I've been the first non-sport set I built was X-Files.
Oh, nice.
And so they slowly have given me more and more. As I said, we have Joe, Tony, Matthew, Pat. There's a number of guys, and we have a lot of hockey guys. But you know what? Building entertainment products is a nice little step from doing something. It's a nice, I don't want to say vacation because it's a lot of work, but it's a nice change of pace is the word I'm looking for. Instead of like building the same kind of inserts and stuff each year after each year with the same sets, like when you have a different license that you're working on, there's so much stuff going on.
Now, when you guys were putting out some Marvel stuff, I know that there were not only, the comic versions, the variations of prints, but you'd also have like direct from the TV shows or movies. And then you would have autos in there from the actors and actresses. Was there ever a time where do you ever get to meet any of these people? Or is this simply like sent out to a publicist, someone like is confirming, hey, that's the actual person signing, and then it gets sent back without many Upper Deck people ever actually getting to meet these people?
So that I don't get to, I've done, I think I've done one private signing because I was at International Fight Week for UFC, and one of the ring girls was in our Goodwin set. And I'm like, if you want me to do it, I'm down here already. But I've met a number of the people personally, just because again, as I said, that's kind of one of my hobbies is collecting autographs. But no, we have a talent acquisition group that is in charge of, meeting up with these people, getting signatures and stuff, and so sometimes they gotta fly overseas. Like I'll tell you one that just recently happened when we talk about some other sets, but they had to fly over to Europe just to get the deal done.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got a number of people that will travel to wherever they need to go to get stuff done.
Now, I was talking with Aaron Abrams from Topps recently. We were talking about how some of these sets take years to put together. Is that the case for you guys as well?
Yeah. And it like when you deal with publishing, you're dealing with, or some of the sets have original art, so that takes definitely takes some time for the artist. Now, if it's one artist, it's going to take quite some time. If you got something like masterpieces where you have one artist doing all the sets, it's going to take them a while. Some of the other sets, with the entertainment, like the TVs and the movies, one of the things is the studios aren't real excited to give out assets until the movie's been out or the TV show's like shown its full run.
Yes.
So with that instance, like we can sit there and build something, but our pre-press department can't even work on photos, can't even work on color correcting or figuring out what photos we have and selecting stuff until we get all those assets, because there's back in the day it wasn't as bad as it is now, but there's so many secrets, there's so many Easter eggs that they just don't want to give away, that they've been very they kind of hold on to those assets to make sure that nothing gets out.
Well, that was one of the things I was curious about too, because when you do, I do want to talk about DC Annual, but I know DC Annual is not necessarily it's not a real life movie or TV show. It's the comic versions of a lot of these characters. And the difference being, like, when it is a movie or something, you're taking actual shots or photographs from the films or shows. Is that ever been a time where you guys got to see a show or a movie first because you had to like clip up pieces of art from it? Or has it always just been where they'll just send you over, still shots from it and just you guys choose from there?
So a lot of times we'll get style guide images, and you've seen in previous sets that we've made, we actually have, like, on our e-pack, we'll put out cards that deal with the style guides. Other times we don't even get those images until, like I said, until afterwards. So,
okay.
And they don't even allow us to screen grab like that. That's another challenge is, you might have a license, or you might have a movie or television show that you're real excited about. And then when you get the assets, there's 50 images and you're trying to build a 100-card base set. And I know some people get frustrated when we repeat images for characters, but a lot of that just has to do with the number of assets per character that we've gotten.
Gotcha. So sometimes you're just limited to that many.
We have gotten to listen to some script reads and then summaries to where, they kind of give us an idea. Okay, hey, you're going to want to focus on this character because they're going to be a big deal. Like, hey, the dog in Superman is going to be, a big deal, which you've already seen in the preview. So that's the sort of stuff that we get.
Well, that's basically what I wanted to go to next, was like, I can just imagine one of the big DC real life products that you'll be putting out. And I'm trying to figure out how to put that better. DC Cinematic Universe products that you'll be putting out would be the Superman movie that's got a lot of hype coming out around it. And is there going to be something in the works here soon? I haven't seen any announcements as of yet.
Yeah, we really haven't. We've kind of announced 3 products. Obviously, our goal is to move towards the cinematic world. Also, is it the DCU? Just like the MCU had the MCU? Is it the DCU?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Or no, is it the DCCU?
You know what? I'm just going to say it's whatever we say it is in this moment, and that's what they have to go by.
Yeah, no, obviously we're going to expand. We want to, maximize this license and do everything we can for them. They've been great to work with. And so we want to give them every bit of Upper Deck that we can. As I mentioned, we've only listed 3 things, but we've already started building. So you got DC Annual, and that's coming out real soon. Next, you've got Batman Metal Universe, which we're really excited for. Tony built that one and did an amazing job. I've already seen some of the designs, and that's going to be huge. And then we have a Superman Fleer Ultra that I believe we announced at the CDD conference. So those are the 3 that, and that's the one I've worked on that one also. Those are the 3 that we've started on. But as I said, there's other things that we haven't announced. Just think about the Upper Deck library. And this is something that's really cool. Like, a lot of people are familiar with a number of the sets that we built in Marvel, and we've done a great job establishing some legendary brands and IPs and stuff. And so, the possibilities of a Platinum and an Unbound and Masterpieces and Premier, Beginnings, Flare. These are sets that the non-sport collectors have grown to love. And so, we've seen and heard of a lot of Marvel collectors kind of starting to talk DC because they have such a love for these sets that we have created year over year, and they're excited. And like, I'm so excited about, hey, here's your first Batman PMG, or imagine even the red Superman PMG. I'm sure that's gonna bring lots of value just because you're color matching and stuff. But we've heard a lot of talk.
The PMGs was what I was gonna get to next, because I got a feeling like anything DC will be huge, because you guys haven't had any DC PMGs before, right?
Nope.
Okay.
The only DC that we've put out is our CDD conference. We put out the Thunderclap cards for the diamond dealers. But
cool.
Yeah. Oh well,
okay.
and we had a Superman I believe anniversary card that came out on EPAC, but nothing yet on hobby shops. So annual will be first, and then metal.
The precious metal gems is going to be very cool in the DC. I think you hit the nail on the head as far as like the color matching and things like that. When you said the metal Batman product coming out, is that going to incorporate any PMGs in that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. And, just wanted to clarify.
And we're not trying to like flood the market with PMGs. So what we're being very cautious of. We don't need a million Supermans and Wonder Womans in a Batman set. There's probably going to be a Superman PMG, but down the future, who knows? We might make a Justice League that might have other Supermen and maybe a Superman version of metal. Like, this is way down the road, but potentially. But we don't want to oversaturate because we noticed like with Marvel, there was a lot of different Spider-Mans in every single metal set. Now, yes, sure, Spider-Man's one of the most popular, publishing characters, but we actually have two of the top three with Batman and Superman, and Spider-Man's in there also. So to have, two of the top three comic book characters potentially in that set, we don't want to overflow and flood the market.
I appreciate that you guys are already thinking about that, because I think that as a non-sport collector, that's like one of those things where it's like, these are characters that will be continued to be printed year after year into the future. It's like when we're looking for a set, if you're a sports fan, it's like, well, there's new players and there's new, characters, so to speak, in a sports set each season it comes out. Whereas with non-sports, it's not always the case. Unless there's like a new show or something like that, you're not necessarily getting new characters. And therefore, at some point, it almost feels like, well, who wants another, 57th Spider-Man version when there's already plenty out there in the marketplace? So the fact that you guys are thinking about these things ahead of time makes me happy, but it does bring up a question. If you guys have DC licensing, does that mean you're only able to take characters from, say, the DC universe and comics right now? I'm thinking more cinematic universe specifically. Can you guys go back and take characters from, like, say, Christopher Nolan's Batman, or one of the earlier, who is it, Michael Keaton Batmans, or anything like that?
I think our goal is to look into that for sure. Dealing with a new licensor, where we're kind of focusing on one, and we're going to just kind of grow that. Yeah. And I think the opportunity to do something like that would be amazing. We have to look and see what's been done before and see how we can improve on it. Upper Deck doesn't want to just redo the same thing that's already been done by somebody else. We want to, come out with something bigger and better. So that's definitely something. I mean, who doesn't want a Margot Robbie auto, Harley Quinn? That's so we're definitely thinking about that for sure.
I want a multi-cinematic experience where it's like I get the Michael Keaton, I get the Val Kilmer, I even get the George Clooney Batman, along with the what's his name, the Christopher Nolan dang it, what's the actor's name?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. I went the Christian Bale and the Ben Affleck in there too. I went all Batmans into one, and then like multiple Supermans, and then all the other. How amazing would that be to have like a product like that? That would be so cool.
It's it'd be super exciting, and I think it would be extremely popular. I get excited with you talking about that because it's just like I know a lot of those people have done private signings, so there's a lot of attainable celebrities that you just mentioned that could be in that set. So
well, Billy, you can use that idea for free. I'm not going to necessarily ask for anything on the back end. I mean, maybe a free box or case or whatever, no big deal. Tell me a little bit about DC Annual. I know it comes out on March 12th. So we got about a little over 2 weeks from now. What's exciting about this new product?
So DC Annual, it just kind of takes us a year in review. That's kind of what it is. And DC Annual, we start with that. It's a very good introductory set when it comes to price point and when it comes to characters and that sort of thing. So it's a very affordable box. And then it kind of like the checklist is built up of characters that were really featured within the last year. And what we've done is obviously added a number of different really cool chase hits. And one of the things I like to kind of say about this is for the price value, it's really like a great chance to get sketch cards are extremely popular when it comes to publishing, and to get a sketch card at the price point of the boxes and stuff, it's one of the cheapest ways to find sketch cards in our products. So
I was going to say, like, and is it one sketch card guaranteed per box, or how does that work?
So we don't even put a guarantee or anything on sketch cards. We just kind of, because you just never know how many you're going to get. There's a big approval process that takes time. We don't want a product to be delayed because we didn't get enough sketches. That being said, we might get more sketches than we expect. So we kind of just almost add sketches as bonus hits when we build the boxes, because years ago we kept delaying products because we're like, well, we're still waiting because we have to hit this specific number. It's solicited. So we just like, let's not even solicit, how often you're going to get a sketch card. We're just going to put sketch cards in there. And however many get approved, that's what we maximize the cards.
Okay, very cool. Well, and I'm looking at like Steel City Collectibles. They've got it retailed, the boxes at $90. I mean, $90 for a box is crazy reasonable as far as the fact that you can get not only a sketch card, but you've got like autograph options as well from creator. It's like the creators of the characters. Is that the creator corner cards? Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know.
And then you have one of the big inserts is the hologram parallel. We actually had to create a DC hologram to put on the back of the cards, similar to our previous license. So those are some of the most popular parallels. And we have like really cool backscatters, are the foil board stickers, almost like the old vending machine stickers, where it's got like the patterned the metal patterns on the background. There's 3D lenticular cards. There's like UV glow in the dark cards in there. There's plexi cards numbered out of 10. There's a lot of big chase hits. Not only just a regular. It's not just like a set collector, but there's a lot of really cool chase cards in the set too.
That is so cool. Okay, well, I definitely looking forward to ripping some of that. Now, any other non-sport, let's say maybe outside the DC universe, anything coming up that you can talk about?
Yeah, now let's get to what I was talking about for private signings. Private signing, beginner signings. So James Bond Black Diamond's coming out, and this stuff is loaded. The private signing that I'm talking about that we didn't announce at the CDD conference because it hadn't been official. This cards hadn't been signed yet. But Ana de Armas will have hard signed autographs in Black Diamond James Bond. So that's right up there with Daniel Craig in my opinion. But we got a number of other really, Leah Sado hasn't had a card in some time. She's in there. but it's kind of like a history of James Bond, and our talent acquisition team did a great job of getting a lot of big names. And then Tony's been building Black Diamond sets since he's been here, and year after year he just keeps building great sets. So expect nothing short of a great set coming out of Black Diamond Bond. Another one that I'm really excited about, that's it's just been a long time of approvals, is the Boys.
Oh yeah.
We've got the Boys set coming out hopefully soon, and we've got everybody. I think there's one person from the Boys, because there's the 7 and then the Boys. I think there's one person on the Boys that we don't have yet or are working on to finish up. Again, we don't like to announce that until we have something actually signed, but we are working on it. But we have the whole 7. So Aaron Moriarty, Anthony Starr, all those guys, and then we've got a number of the Boys, and then a number of secondary characters also. And I think it's like an auto every other box. So we stepped away from the 2 autos per case to really add a lot more autograph content to that set too, which people have requested, so we accommodated. But I'm really excited about that set. And what's great is there's so many fun things to that set, because that's like the comic book with no rules sometimes. When I talked to the licensor there, I told him, like, as soon as Huey's girlfriend's hands are sitting in his arms and the rest of her body is on the front of a train because he just ran her over, I'm like, okay, this is a show I'm probably gonna like. And like we made up one insert that I think it's gonna be hilarious. Like those funeral cards, we actually put like the images of when they get knocked off, and a picture of that with like clouds and the sky and birds flying in the background. I'm
kind of surprised that you're able to even print these cards without like some kind of explicit warning on there.
Yeah, and we're a family-owned business. We might be bending a few rules on this set, because as I said, it's gone through a lot of back and forths, but it should be coming out soon. I've seen a few of the actors from the show at some events I go to. I'm like, I promise the set's coming out soon. He's like, I signed those stickers, whatever ago. And it is a sticker product, so I'm excited for that to come out. So those are 2 of the big ones that I'm excited about. And then, like I said, we've got a number of things in the works that I can't talk about, but I know those 2 have definitely been announced.
Okay. Anything you want to hint about and we just not tell anybody, or no?
Like I said, just think about some of the traditional sets that we built with our previous license. And I think you can expect in the future to see some of those that you'll be really excited about.
I'm excited, man.
Which ones those are, you'll have to wait and find out.
Well, I will tell you, the March 5th release of the Upper Deck the Black Diamond 007 product, that looks so good to me. That's probably the one I'm most excited for in the near future. But you really teased me here, and now that we know that you're going to do a DC Universe all Batman product that we definitely are going to make happen, I'm even more excited for that one. Wink, wink. You've got to make it happen. Just do it, Billy. Just do it, Billy.
Yeah, and then like I would like once we start moving into the cinematic. I mean, I'd love to start working on something like that. And this hasn't even started or been talked about, but something like the Penguin, one of the hottest shows on television. I would love to do something like that, or as you said, we can go back and do some of the other sets. So
or a Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I mean, everybody loved that. That just needs its own set right there.
Well, you know what? Maybe Blake Lively will want to take charge of that one and start building the set for me. And I don't know. We'll see what happens.
There are options. That's what I'm hearing. So, yes. Hey, Billy, Celio, thank you so much for coming on, talking a little bit about some of the Upper Deck non-sport cards that we can expect coming out here in the near future and ones to come down the line as well. Super excited. Really appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Jesse.
All right, there you go. Billy was awesome. Billy had a lot of teased ideas. I'm telling you, there's something he hinted about that dog in Superman, like movie wise, not even card wise, movie wise, like what are we going to see in the movie with the dong? There's something going on. Anyways, great information. Definitely going to have him back. I will say Upper Deck has been very friendly and hands-on as far as like trying to get people on to talk about products and things like that. I'll say the same thing about Tops. It's just they are very busy. It's harder to get some people, but they've also been helpful with getting guests on. I love this. I love that we're getting so much transparency, especially on the non-sport side of things. So that's your show. We look forward to having some interviews or at least some content coming out of Ireland. I'll be at the Dublin Card Show on March the 1st. Hopefully I'm hoping to get like an interview or so for the Hobby Nonsense podcast for the next episode while I'm out there. It'll be interesting to see how next week's episode goes. I'm hoping to still put one out. I'm questioning though if I'll be able to, just because I will be in Ireland at the time. So if you don't have an episode next week, I apologize. You'll definitely have one the week after. But all that being said, appreciate you guys subscribing and liking and commenting and all the stuff on social media that helps those things grow. Your support means the world to me. Thank you. This is Hobby Nonsense. Have a good day.